Brought to us by who?
The one and only Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. And I was going to start this today with the Rangers Suarez coming back, the first official start over the weekend. But you guys brought up the Flyers earlier today, and it got me thinking. John didn't get to enjoy the Wendy's, so he's going to need something to get fired up this morning. What about Matvei Michkov appearing on some kind of Russian podcast, and it went viral yesterday? And it turns out he didn't have a mortal enemy in his former head coach, John Tortorella. He actually spoke candidly about his former coach. If you worked hard in practice, if you played hard for him, he trusted you. Turns out Matvei Michkov was a fan of John Tortorella the whole time.
Wow.
In fact, he said, this is where I was upset about it big time. Because, and by the way, I heard stuff on our own station that I spoke out about.
Yeah.
There was a lot of misinformation about the relationship between Michkov and him and John Tortorella. And Michkov never had a problem with John Tortorella. Even when he was being benched, never had a problem with John Tortorella. Admired John Tortorella, liked John Tortorella. John Tortorella went out of his way to really try to create some sort of a bond with this young man. And I thought there was a lot of misinformation about it. And the Torts is so mean and he's awful and everything. And it's like, yeah, well, there are other veteran players who didn't like John Tortorella.
Like Sean Couturier.
Like Sean Couturier, who ran to his agent when he got benched.
Yeah,
there are players who can't handle being a little tough love.
Listen, this is your sport. And
My gosh.
I rip the handling of coaches in your sport all the time. Like
Yes.
a guy can go through an entire camp, like Peter Laviolette, and then get fired 3 games into a season,
Which is stupid.
And it's like, what? You just went through an entire camp. You built out your plans. Think of training camp in football, and you come up with offensive philosophies, defensive game planning, and then you fire the coach 3 games in the season. That happens in your sport, and I don't understand it, Johnny. I really don't.
It's stupid.
But this is something that's funny. It's always the coach's fault, not the player. How come Sean Couturier being a bit of a baby?
A bit of a baby?
Being a bit of a baby is the problem, and that's not the problem. It's the head coach is too harsh on him.
I like Sean Couturier saying at the end of the year, at his end of the year press comments, I just try to keep things professional. I mean, no, you didn't. You run to your freaking agent.
To put out reports.
Like, seriously,
yeah.
come on, give me a freaking break. John Tortorella had many flaws
Absolutely.
over his career in interpersonal relationships he did. He was a great foundational coach for Matvei Michkov. He finished 18 points ahead of the projection of his rookie scoring.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And then I had some guy yesterday go to me yesterday, imagine if he had a really good coach to be able to. I'm like, you're freaking stupid.
Yeah.
At that point, you're just stupid.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully next year the Flyers are playing in May.
I think it's going to have a chance, and they're already interviewing candidates.
And Hockey Haley's second home out there in St. Louis, they're playing hockey right now.
Yes.
But maybe some kids are not playing basketball in their driveway anymore. A story that went viral on the internet yesterday. A family out in St. Louis put up a basketball hoop, and the neighbors didn't like it, that it was too close to their house. The zoning people said that it's good where it is. And now the neighbors are suing the family for the basketball hoop being too close.
Wait a minute, it's in their driveway?
It's in their personal driveway. And here is the NBC 11 short clip on it out from St. Louis.
A St. Louis Park family is getting sued by their next-door neighbor over where their basketball hoop is located. Lily Moding and her husband have 2 boys who like to unwind by shooting hoops in their front yard. But their neighbors pointed out the pole was too close to the property line. So the Modings moved it, but that wasn't good enough.
My kitchen window is right there. I have to watch them. I don't want to have to watch them.
Julia Ramos even filed a restraining order against Ross Moding, saying he was harassing her by trespassing and retrieving balls from their yard. The Ramoses are now suing the Moding family and the city of St. Louis Park.
Now, wait a minute. Now, she may have a thing about
the ball going on
running into the yard all the time. Now, here's what I would say.
Harassing, though?
But here's what I would say. I would absolutely bring a pickup game to my driveway.
I bring fans.
I would have
this. Fans.
I would take this Karen, and I would take her out. I would have my buddies from high school over, and without breaking noise ordinances.
Yeah.
But I would have more shooting in my driveway.
And oh, by the way, John, I'm watching the Fox 9 video.
Okay.
The kids are not even 10 years old. So it's these 2 kids that are just enjoying.
They're just shooting hoops?
And this horrible, wretched woman.
And how old is this woman? Like 40 maybe?
I don't know, but
she sounds like she's 40.
I don't want to have to see them out of my kitchen
Karen.
window. Look out another window then.
I got to
Put
tell
some
you,
curtains up.
my
God.
number, if you would say to me, if you'd say to me on my deathbed, number one sounds that I love to hear.
The basketball hoop in the background.
I love hearing kids at play. Kids playing in the street, kids playing in the yard, kids running around. Like to me, that is a comforting feeling of like, okay, that brings me back to my childhood where in our neighborhood, we were always in the street, always playing, always doing stuff. That's a comforting feeling of kids are safe, kids are having a great time.
Yeah, go move to a retirement-only neighborhood if you don't want to hear kids playing around.
Dude, this woman sucks because here's the deal.
She's an awful person.
She eventually got to the ball retrieving in her yard. Okay. But at first it was, I don't want to have to see them out my kitchen window.
Well, that's disgraceful.
Then you know what? Go into solitary confinement and sketch how many days you've been sitting in there and how many days you have sucked on this planet.
That's incredible to me.
Oh, man.
I hate that. Because,
that's an awful person.
And that, you know what? That same person, I bet you, these kids these days are always on their iPads. I bet you
Yes.
she would say the exact same thing.
No, I think she'd buy them iPads. I'd say go inside.
Like you said, I love seeing the kids outside. It's great.
I love seeing kids at play. I think it's awesome. And to me, when I'm the guy who says, get them off their asses,
yeah,
and
man.
get outside and play. Get out and play.
Wow.
And our kid was not allowed to have all that screen time.
Yeah.
It was do something. Go do something.
You know how
Don't sit and watch. Get your head out of the iPad.
You know how a couple of weeks ago I told you about a story at the event I had where the woman wasn't too friendly.
Yeah, she was
and
awful.
you had the email, and the guy was like, maybe you shouldn't talk about other people's wives that way. I will gladly talk about this person.
Oh, she's evil.
This person sucks.
It's terrible.
Not wanting kids to play basketball. I don't want to see him out my window. Yeah, house got one window?